Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Joey D's Golf Journey, the podcast, where I get out here and I just talk everything golf, from my own golf to PGA Tour to what's going on with the Live Saga and all that happy horse shit. So let's talk about what has been the hottest story in golf over the last couple weeks, which is Brooks Koepka returning to the PGA Tour. He's going to make his season debut at the Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines, and that's going to be from January 29th to February 1st. How do you guys feel about that? I really believe that this is a good thing for the PGA Tour. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, I'm not a fan of Lives, and I'm not a fan of Live, and it has nothing to do with, well, it has a little bit to do with, but because I don't want to seem like that's not important, but it has less to do with me about the 9/11 and the Saudis and all that, and more to do with, I feel like these guys that left were, I don't know, like. As an amateur golfer, we play golf, right? And we just want to score the best we can. And we would, a lot of us would give our right nut to be able to play at the level these guys can play. And they're chasing championships, and they're already loaded. They're already rich. And so they go over to Live. I don't fault any of them for going. I really don't. They go over there. It was a lot more money. Listen, if someone came to me and said, I will pay you 3 times your salary and you come do the same job you're doing for them, that you're going to do for me, I don't know how many of us would say no to that. I don't fault them for that. I especially don't fault the guys that went over there and just stayed quiet. They knew that they were having some sort of like mediocre career on the PGA Tour, maybe starting to make a name for themselves, like Harold Varner. He had won over in Dubai or something like that, but he had come close a couple times in the PGA Tour, but he knew that he was not going to make the kind of money in the PGA Tour that with where he was in his level of play, and he goes over to Live for this guaranteed money. But what really interests me is that now that Brooks has come back to the PGA Tour, what's it going to be like for these guys as their contracts start to run out on Live? That's what I'm really curious to see. Now, I have a sneaky suspicion that Bryson DeChambeau is going to sign some ridiculously huge contract with Live. That's the rumors that I'm hearing, and so it'll be interesting to see if Bryson DeChambeau comes back, or if he just plays Live, does his thing on YouTube, which I find his YouTube channel extremely entertaining, I'm not going to lie, and then see if he's going to, find out what he's going to do. I think they are all, a lot of guys are thinking about it. Look at Pat Perez. I know he's a journeyman or whatever and really wasn't missed, but he's back, right? Pat Perez is coming back to the PGA Tour, and I think he's going to have to sit out do the suspension. And it was kind of funny because last year he didn't even play. Last year he was in the booth. So they wouldn't count that as their year suspension because he was still involved with Live. The unfortunate thing going on with them is that they're not getting any viewership, right? There's nobody watching Live. When they streamed on YouTube, getting less than 100,000 viewers at any given time. They tried their thing with the CW. I don't even know if the CW still is covering them. I don't even know where to get Live to watch it when it's on. I mean, it's on oddball times. And listen, golf is golf, right? Golf is golf. But when you're putting out a product, it needs to be entertaining and it needs to be something that the fans want. And I think that what the golf world is saying in a majority of the time, and I'm not blaming anybody. Listen, if you live, all the more power to you. If you enjoy it, great. It's okay. No judgment here. I didn't enjoy the product. And I especially hated that ever-changing leaderboard on the left-hand side with the teams and the individuals, and I just couldn't keep up, especially with me having OCD and anxiety and all that. Holy Christ, it was a freaking nightmare. So anyway, it's been interesting to see what's going to happen over the next year or two with Live. Will they survive? They really haven't made any big splashes with signing any big names lately. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is that Brooks Koepka is back, and I think that's really good for the PGA Tour. Want to talk about my channel for a little bit, Joey D's Golfing Journey. So I am up to 661 subscribers, trying to drive to 1,000. I'm doing my very best to put out content that people want to see. Sometimes you put out what I would call a winner, and sometimes I put out videos that I think are going to be okay, and they flop. For example, I thought this whole finding the longest ball off the tee for me, I don't know why, but I thought that was going to be a hit. I thought that people were going to really want to watch that. I thought the Titleist VG3 golf ball review that I put out, that the golf ball that's only sold in Japan, I thought that was going to be great, but it's only got 76 views. And the longest ball off the tee, the latest one I did, has only got 64 views. But I committed to doing a series on that, and I'm going to see that through to the end, because any views are good views. But man, oh man, do you guys like the reviews. Like, I put a review out of the Performance Golf 357 fairway wood. That is like, it's at almost 900 views. And I know when you're hearing these numbers, you're thinking 900 views, that's not a lot. Well, when you have 660 something subscribers and you're, on your small channel like that, that's a big number. Now, I do have I have one video that's got almost 10,000 views. I've got some other videos that have got over 5,000 views. So, I probably got six or seven videos that have gone 1,000 plus. But when I can get over 400 or 500 views, I'm pretty happy. But the only way to fulfill your dreams is to not quit, right? So I'm going to make mistakes along the way, but it's not failure unless you quit doing what you're doing. So I'm having fun. I'm having fun, regardless of if the video is a hit or not. Sometimes I get a little obsessed about the numbers. I love seeing my channel grow. I stumble across videos where people are like, oh, how I grew my YouTube channel in 1 year and got monetized and blah, blah, blah. I've been at this now for a little over a year. My biggest video, I think, is at like 9.5 thousand views, which is huge for me. But it was the very first video I ever made. And it was just me talking about Lazarus hybrid irons, how they changed my game, and then kind of like, oh, this is more of a mental health channel, but I'm going to throw in some golf stuff where I abandoned the mental health part of it. I do that somewhere else. I'm a big advocate for mental health awareness, huge advocate. If you guys are ever interested in hearing about my journey with mental illness and my journey about how I cope and all that, I do have a podcast. It's called My Brain, My Happiness. And if you are ever looking for a place just to find out, coping skills and things that I use, I don't talk to you from a therapist standpoint. I talk to you from a guy who suffers from obsessive compulsive disorder and things like that, it might be able to help you, So if you're interested, but I know you're not out here to talk about that. We're out here to talk about golf. And let me tell you something. I can't wait to get out on a golf course. I cannot wait. We've been hitting up the indoor simulators all winter long. That's how I'm doing this golf ball, longest golf ball test. We've tested out a couple shafts. I have a demo, a review coming up that I am so excited about. And I may make a short video on it first to announce it, but I ordered another Newton fast motion shaft. And you're thinking, but Joe, you've already done a review of the fast motion shaft, which is true. But I haven't done one in my TaylorMade mini driver. Will it make a difference in the mini driver? So the shaft of the mini driver is like 2 inches shorter. And I talked to the guys at Newton, and I still ordered a 2-dot. But when you cut those 2 inches off, it really turns it more into a regular flex shaft, which is closer to a 3-dot. So I have a regular flex shaft in my my TaylorMade mini driver now, and I'm really curious to see if this Newton fast motion shaft is going to be an improvement in the mini driver. I think it's going to be a cool video. I hope it's going to be a cool video. And the best videos are this, right? When you test something and then you try something new and you see immediate results. You see like improvement right away. Those to me are the best videos. I think those are what get people jazzed up the most. But my reviews are honest. Okay, they're honest. And I have reviewed clubs that I wanted to perform well because I don't like to give bad reviews. In fact, I hate it. I got the type of personality that I'm always rooting for people to succeed. But I did that review of the Maxfort 2 driver, and they said you're going to gain 20 yards and whatnot. I didn't. I was hitting it just as far as my Callaway AI Smoke at the time. And so I had to say, I had to give it that review. It wasn't that it was a bad driver. It wasn't that it didn't perform well. It just didn't live up to what they said it was going to do. Another thing that I've been working hard on this offseason is gaining speed. I've been doing speed training. So there'll be a video coming out of that, of this entire off season of me doing the speed training. I've been using the super speed sticks, which is the 3-stick program. You got the light stick, which is the green stick, the medium stick, which is the blue stick, and then the heavier stick, which is the red stick. And you basically go through these protocols where you swing with your dominant side, then you swing with your non-dominant side. So I'm working on putting together a video. I've been shooting highlights and stuff like that. And, what I have like ready to go now is going to change. And so there'll be a 6-week check-in, and then at the end of it, it'll be a 12-week check-in, but it'll all be in the same video. So I am currently in week 6, and I have rented a bay at a simulator next week to see what kind of gains we have made. However, I'm going to be using the same driver and the same golf ball I started with, and so I've been using the Callaway AI Smoke, but I also used the Callaway Super Soft golf ball. My swing speed is increased by like 5 or 6 miles an hour at least. I couldn't get out of the high 80s I couldn't get to the high 80s, and now I'm, 94, 95, 96. I've hit 100 miles an hour a couple times, and that Callaway Super Soft is not flying as far as other golf balls that I've tested. So, but I want to keep apples to apples, and then from there on, it'll be this other challenge that I got going on, finding the longest golf ball for me. I'm probably going to go to a different driver. I've been using when I'm not doing that swing speed test or result check-in, whatever, I've been using a more lower spin driver. I've been using the Callaway Rogue from 2022, which is supposed to have the max forgiveness with low spin. I have the Newton Motion fast shaft in it, and I'm fucking killing it. Excuse my French. I'm killing it. Killing the ball. I'm getting carry yardages way further. My swing speed is way up. And I am super stoked to see where I'm going to be after the 6 weeks is complete. Like today when I do my super speed swing training session, that'll be 6 weeks down. And so because of this huge snowstorm we're supposed to have here this weekend, I can't do the 6-week check-in this weekend, but I will a week from Sunday. So we're in January 23rd right now in 2026. So a week from the 25th, I will get to the simulator, the same simulator I established my baseline at, and we're going to do the 6-week check-in. But you're not going to see that video yet. I'm not going to put the video out until I'm done with the program. Done with 12 weeks. You're never done with the program, because when you stop doing the program, you kind of lose the impact of it, right? I did do the super speed stick back in 2020, had some pretty good gains, and I'm determined. Not only am I doing the super speed stick, but I'm also doing specific strength training workouts with specific golf designed moves to help develop those fast twitch muscles that really get your body moving. And so I'm excited about that. I switched from weights to resistance bands, and I think it's made a huge help. I can't wait, because I'm seeing the results already. I'm seeing the results. And if you guys have been paying attention to my videos, you can see the results. You can see where those swing speeds are now compared to where they were in the beginning. So look forward to putting that out. I also look forward, to picking up some more subscribers. I have a dream. Not to sound like Martin Luther King, but I do have a dream. My dream is to be able to make some sort of living off of YouTube. I think it's the coolest thing that guys are out here. And there's guys out here that are like 24, 25 handicaps. They got like 40,000 followers. I don't know how they do it. And so I try to learn about making better quality videos. My videos in the beginning were shit, even though some of them have a good amount of views, but I've been studying and researching and learning that important thumbnails, catchy thumbnails are what you want to have. I'm starting to see that certain kind of videos do better than others. Review videos do great. And I think as I get bigger, the stuff out on the course will get better too. I get modest views on those, 400 or 500 views. And I know that sounds like very little to you guys, but for me, like I said, it's pretty good. And I can't believe 400 people will take the time, or 500 or 9,000 to watch a video that I make, at a 12 handicap. I'm also determined, and you guys are going to see this journey that I'm going to take to get to a single digit handicap. I'm not talking 8 or 9. I'm talking 5 or 6. I am going to get there this year. I'm driving towards that. I'm working on distance, and the lack of distance really hurt me this year more than any other year. Hopefully I'll get to continue my partnership and work with Lazarus Golf, Bomb Tech Golf. I can't say enough about Newton. My God, they already provided me. I bought this last Newton shaft because Angelo from Newton had given me like $1,200 worth of free shaft. I could not ask the guy for a free shaft again. Not while I'm at 600 and something subscribers. As I get bigger, I'm hoping companies will reach out to me. But you guys can help me. If you're listening to this podcast and you've gotten this far, you can help me. If you're not a subscriber, like and subscribe. Join the Joey D Golfing Journey family. It's just an average guy, average golfer, bringing you honest reviews, showing you honest golf or average golf, trying to make his game better and better. And as I find things to make my game better, I share them with you. There's been a couple of comments out there that, basically have been like, no, you're wrong. I mean, for example, the Performance 357 fairway hybrid review I did. Literally one of the best fairway woods I've ever hit. Now, I should say. Now, the Bomb Tech 7 wood is still the best one. But that 357 fairway wood, they said it would fly as long as a 3 wood, which for me, it flies as long as my 3 wood. It comes in nice and high like a 7 wood, which it does. And it's got a 5 wood length. It did everything it said it was going to do. And that was the experience I had. And people are like, no, a couple of people are like, the club's garbage. My daughter gave it to me. I didn't have the heart to tell her, but it's worth like $25 at the Salvation Army. I didn't experience that. I didn't. And I think if you read the history and find out how this designer came, this guy used to design clubs for Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods. He used to work with a lot of big names. Not to mention, Performance Golf has got so many top instructors and so associated with them. It's hard to look away from the stuff that they have. I'm thinking about trying their Thriver. Is it called the Thriver? It's like a mini driver. Thinking about it, but I haven't seen much out there on YouTube about it. I don't know how popular it is, and I'd hate to spend the money. I could always send it back, right? But I mean, I did a review of the spoiler putter, me and my buddy JT, and I thought that was going to do great, and it didn't. That's just weird. And Bomb Tech Golf, which is great equipment. Maybe they have just not made their name big enough out on social media, but they make wonderful equipment, and I'm surprised that my reviews of their clubs are not performing as well as Lazarus. Anyway, that's all I have to say for today. Thanks for listening, guys. I really appreciate it. Look for the review of the Newton Motion Fast Shaft coming out in the mini driver. And the golf ball reviews and whatever else we got going on this winter. And before you know it, in New England, we'll be out back on the links, and we'll get some more on-course stuff. I cannot wait. Thanks again so much. Let's keep this thing going. Help me out. Help me fulfill my dream. I feel like I was put on this earth to do more, and this is one of these things that I feel like I was put on earth to do. There's a lot of small YouTube creators out there doing golf channels, and you should go out and help us all. We're like a little family out here, and we do talk to each other. We communicate with each other a lot. Okay, thanks for listening. This has been another episode of Joey D's Golfing Journey, the podcast. You guys have a great day, and peace.